Time for another edition of the Cougar Coaches Show here at Mediacom Channel 22, also on the web here at ColumbiaCougars.com. My name is Cosmo. I work with Zimmer Radio Group, KTGR, ESPN Radio, and Y107. Head coach of the Cougar Women's Squad, Mike Davis. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, it's a new year, Cosmo. Ready to go.
Another time. Here we go again. Last season, very successful year for you guys. 5th consecutive trip back to the national tournament. Win the regular season AMC championship, conference tournament championship as well. 17-1. Had a chance to cut some nets down here at Southwell Complex. That's always a fun achievement for the girls on the team, for sure.
Well, you know, that was a fun year last year. I thought we had a lot of returning players that stepped up, changed their role, did a great job for us. New players that came in did a good job, and it was a fun way to end our home season here with a conference tournament championship. And as you said, nets being cut down, and got to the national tournament, had a great game against a great team there in the first round, but lost a tough ball game. So, you know, it still leaves you hungry, though. You have a good year, but it still leaves you hungry for the next one.
And there's that over-the-hump moment, I think, for you guys as far as the national tournament is concerned. Like, you made it to the second round. It's just kind of trying to figure out what's that combination to push that even further. I know that's one of your goals down the road.
You know,
sure.
That's something that's I think been very disappointing to us as a program. We haven't made that deep run at the national tournament that we hope to, and it's something we're working for every day, and it has not been lost on us that we haven't gotten that done. That's check mark we need to put in the box.
And again, we'll get into this more in a little bit. The conference landscape has changed tremendously, especially with other teams coming in, but more so than any other sport, at least for you guys in the women's side of things, with a program like Freed Hardman coming in. That's going to change some things. They're a perennial team that's up there in that, and they've won some championships and been there at the end over the last several years. So that will definitely change the landscape on the conference side for you guys.
You may not be ready to talk about that yet, but let's just jump into it, because the conference has changed drastically. And, you know, I've always thought about our conference, the AMC, and there's been such a change in all of the NCAA to NCAA2 to NAIA with us, and every conference is changing. And it's really amazing. Some of the very best conferences, strongest conferences, are no longer there. Yeah. And the American Midwest Conference has done a great job of not only surviving, but thriving during this time. And on the women's basketball side, you know, we add this year Mid-Continent University out of Mayfield, Kentucky. But the second team we add is Freed Hardman University from down by Jackson, Tennessee. And they were the #1 seed going into the national tournament last year. I think they ended up 34-2, something like that. And every year they are a very, very strong team. So it was a great addition to our conference on the women's side. And to be honest, I know for our program, we are really, really looking forward to having them in the conference. We've played them a couple of times over the years. Been pretty fortunate so far, 2-0 against them. But a great program and a team that we really look forward to having in the program to help the women's side just be stronger.
And talk about that, adding the profile and the higher mark on the AMC conference.
Sure.
You know, the more talent that's there, the better off the conference is. And with the addition of the number of teams, does that give the automatic tournament bid to a regular season winner, or is that?
We had that last year.
Last
year was the first season on the women's side. The men did not have that. The women, we had 2 automatic bids. The regular season winner and the postseason tournament winner. Adding 2 more teams does not change that. We still have the 2 bids. And then next year we'll be adding 2 more teams to the conference. So we are changing and growing in the American Midwest Conference, and I think it's for the better, because lots of teams are not able to say that about the conference they're in.
Most definitely. Let's talk about some of the players that'll make up that Cougar roster for you. Obviously, some of your main returning players like Heather English is back, and let's talk about some of your new girls that are on the team. We'll say new, but not really new. But Ashley Fisher back to basketball after talking with Coach last week, John Utley on the golf side. He's like, well, she's putting the golf clubs down, back for the free throw line to head over to Coach Mike Davis again. So
we're glad to have Fish back with us. You know, she did such a great job for us for 2 years. Took a year off from basketball last year. Her sophomore year with us, I think, averaged 13 to 14 points a ball game, and really gives us someone instantly who you know what you're going to get from them. And the second thing, there's not a newness to the program for her. She's able to come in and get going. Danielle Duncan is a transfer out of Southwest Illinois Community College. Who helped lead them to the national tournament last year. Very, very good shooter. I think she's someone that our fans will really enjoy watching shoot the basketball. Another young lady who knew that we have that if she's able to get healthy, she is suffering from a concussion right now. And she's been out about 3 weeks. And I mean, when I say out, completely out of all basketball or athletic activities. But Petrolina Chalaka. a young lady from Houston, Texas, who was one of the premier players in Houston coming out of high school. Actually played for a past Lady Cougar down there. LaQuisha Dickerson spent 2 years at Grand Canyon University, and she is a dynamite player. If we can get her healthy, she's going to be great fun. I think our fans that enjoyed watching Lily Abreu last year, very similar type players athletically and different things with Petrolina. So if we can get her healthy, some really good additions that we've made into our program, and really good people as well. And
it's that, off-season time where you've got, I think, 6 or 7 new faces all together, trying to gel them together, get them to the buy into your system and get them working. What was the off season, or how has it been? Obviously, there's been a couple of, or one exhibition game, another one to go. But talk about the off season training regimen and practices here in the early going.
Hey, we got in here right when school started and really got busy with things. And as soon as we have our physicals done, we start our conditioning and lifting and those type things. We have a 24-week rule with the NAIA for practices, so you just count back from your last regular season game 24 weeks. So we actually started about the end of September with our practices. So, we've been going, I think we're about 20-some practices in right now, a little over 20. So a lot of stuff in, but when you have a lot of new players, you're also having to really go through things in a lot of different ways. So had one scrimmage last week. We went back to Southwest Illinois Community College, SWIC, where Danielle Duncan is from. So she got to go play in front of her family.
That was a fun little quick turnaround. Leave and go right back.
I think that was one thing we wanted to do, though, for her. I think that's fun for her to go back. And then next Tuesday, we go to Penn Valley. And Laurel Wishman, one of our 2 seniors on our team this year, that's where she played junior college basketball at. So I think that's always fun for them to go back and revisit where they played before.
And as far as getting ready for the actual games and the scheduling, we mentioned already the new conferences a little bit. On your sidelines, things will be a little bit different. Kurt Riley left for the the girls basketball coach at Father Tolton High School. Was your assistant for the last several years. I know he'd been a girls high school coach before, so he's kind of going back to his roots, so to speak, a little bit. He did so well here in Columbia and also in Kirksville. Talk a little bit about what Kurt brought to your sidelines and what the plan is this year as far as that assistant coaching position.
Well, we really wish Coach Riley the best over there, and he's going to do a great job. We were actually just over at a clinic that they had about 2 weeks ago. He'd been with us a long time. He was actually retiring from the public school systems here this past year. So it really worked out well for him to be able to slip into the coaching position over at Father Tolton. And they're very fortunate to have him in there because he'll do a great job. And I don't think there's anyone you could get that would have any more passion for coaching and passion for kids than what he has. For our side of it, it was kind of late in the year. If we would have been able to bring in someone that had some ties to the program right away, I think it might have been a good fit. But as late as it was, we really didn't want to bring someone new in that had no connection to the program and spend as much time with your assistant coach and getting them on the same page as you would with the team. So right now, hey, it's been kind of fun in a lot of ways because little things that you weren't doing in the past, oh yeah, I have to do that today. So it takes you back and grounds you a little bit sometimes with some of the duties that you have to do as a coach. But coaching doesn't change at whatever level or wherever you're at. You're teaching fundamentals. This team has been really good to work with so far. They've been a very coachable group, and it's been fun to work with them. I know I talked to them last night. Since our scrimmage over at SWIC, we did a good job, won by 17 or 18, whatever, during that scrimmage. But it was really a fun time because that first scrimmage refocuses them because you're able to see the things you're not quite as good at as you thought you were, things you need to get better at, and lets those players, they listen a little better after that first scrimmage.
And that's always a big step after there's only so much you can see and do and duplicate on a practice setting or in drills and shooting at the return net, whatever that case is. But once you get on a bus and drive a couple hours and face another set of opponents on the court, that really kicks off the season.
Well, you're seeing different things. In practice every day, we're going against the things that we do. Right. And all of a sudden you get pretty accustomed to how you handle this or how you handle that. Different teams do different things and present different problems. And I think any good team, you're a problem solver. Any good team figures out, okay, here's a problem and how can I solve it? And that helps you, that lends itself towards success without any question.
Come back, we'll talk with the coach about Heather English, one of the big stars of this Cougar team. Is she already a senior?
I'm going to tell you, if you're here in Columbia and you miss watching her play this year, you're not a basketball fan. Because she is a basketball player. She's fun to watch.
She's a lot of fun to watch. She had a big honor this it was April when it happened, but we'll talk about that. Also an honor for yourself, Coach. We'll come back and talk a little bit about that and more on this Cougar basketball team for the Lady Cougars. Again, the full roster, meet the players in advance at ColumbiaCougars.com.